were so cuddly, by the way, Dylan and her.
That's what I
so
want to know.
cuddly.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, and holding her hand, like,
Are
the
you
whole time,
serious?
never left her side, yeah.
Oh my God, if I see Dylan and Chrissy kissing, I think I might actually lose my head.
Okay, I'm calling a meeting for the Dylan Defense League because when are we ready? When are we riding? We need to go and speak to Mimi because this ain't it. What is this? Why is she so invested in Dylan's business? Dylan hasn't even gone to see what she's up to, and yet every time she's got an opinion or she's got something to say about Dylan, why she dumped him, he moved on. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. And Zanti deserved to go home. It was time. I'm happy she's gone home. And hopefully now that the mean girl clique has been dismantled, the villa will be more settled. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Australia, Season 6, Episode 12. This has been a very busy week for me, so I haven't been able to get back to or respond to the comments. I will do so as soon as I can. So the islanders pick up their drinks and Dylan does the toast. He toasts to the new bombshells and welcomes them to the villa. And then you have people go and sit in their couples or they're just having conversations. And Dylan is speaking to Sophie. He's telling Sophie that you have nothing to worry about because at the end of the day, there's a possibility that Chrissy might pick Taylor because they seem to have had a lot of chats with Taylor. And so for me, it makes me think, does Dylan really not like Chrissy? Is he questioning that? Is that why he's so into Sophie? Because even Chrissy said the same thing, that when Dylan is around Sophie, he's very clingy to Sophie, so she doesn't know where he stands. You have Zanti. Zanti's panicking, obviously, because her couple is gone, because Zayn is moving on, and now she has no one, and she can't graft Tommy because she never really liked him like that. If Kane was still there, then she would have been safe, but now she's, leaving her fate up to the gods. You have Taylor suddenly speaking to Kayla and Chrissy and saying to the two of them that he is very open and the girls should not be afraid to pick whoever they want. It's more or less like he's campaigning for them to pick him. And it's like, what happened from you shutting them down to you suddenly encouraging them to pick you? Did the producers tell you that you can't shut yourself down? Which is it? It's either something happened with M and he doesn't like M anymore, or the producers have called him out to say, why are you shutting down everybody that wants to talk to you? What is it? If you found your person, the two of you can go home. So I'm not sure exactly what's happened, but something is a bit fishy there. Anyway, the islanders receive a text message to gather around the fire pit. They all know that there's going to be a recoupling. Am I surprised? No. To say I'm disappointed is an understatement. What do I have to do? Why do I always have to go to war? Last year it was Nate and Nakia. This season is Dylan. Please, for the love of Christ, can he get a break? Anyway, the islanders gather around the fire pit. Sorry about my voice. I think it's going in and out today. I don't know what's going on. So they gather around the fire pit. Sophie Monk comes in and she reveals that the two new bombshells will get to recouple, meaning that whoever is single at the end of the recoupling will go home. So we have Kayla and Chrissy stand up and they are asked to pick. And so for Kayla, it was a given that she was going to pick Zayn. They had a strong connection. They were chatting. They were happy. Zayn had already sort of ended things with Zanti. So I wasn't surprised when she picked him. But for Chrissy, I don't get. I am very confused because she said her top three were Dylan, Tommy, and Taylor. So I don't get why she made the choice she made and the words that she used, because she said he made her very comfortable and they were vibing on day one, meaning after day one there were no vibes. So the audacity to try and justify her reason for picking him and making it seem that it's his fault that she's picked him, I don't get. Why is she throwing him under the bus? Is she trying to save herself from the girls or what? Because Dylan, you could tell when he was chosen, with Zayn said he saw it coming, he knew it was happening, so he was happy. He was sad for Zanti, but he was happy. Zanti said, she was sad that she liked Zayn more than he liked her. that's fine. With Dylan, I didn't like it because Dylan said it's bittersweet. Yes, it's nice to be picked, but also at the same time, he's worried about Sophie because Sophie might be going home. And for us not to focus on that and for Chrissy to keep going on about this, oh, he gave me the energy, he gave me the vibes, he gave me this. And it's like, but that's not what you were saying when you were speaking to Taylor. You told Taylor that when you spoke to Dylan, you got vibes that he was interested, but then you always saw him clinging to Sophie, which tells you that he still is not done with Sophie. So the audacity to pick him and then say it's his fault that you've picked him, I don't get, and my blood pressure is going up. Oh my God, and my voice is going. I hope I'm able to finish this review. So you have Sophie and Zanti be called to stand beside Sophie Monk, and they are told that they're both single and one of them will be going home. The Islanders are not going to vote which one of them is going home. Neither is it the superfans. I wish I knew who the superfans were. Anyway, it's revealed that there is a new boy coming in and he will date both girls. So they're doing the Georgia spin from last season where Georgia came in and dated two guys and then chose Nate. So they're saying that this guy is going to date the two of you and then he's going to decide who he wants to couple up with. So off you go. Instead of them having the dates in the villa, they are actually sent away to go and have their dates away from everyone. And I think this was to make the girls comfortable and make sure that the boys don't know who is dating who and how the dates are going. You have Zanti is the first one to go on a date with Mercedes. Mercedes is 28 years old. Somebody has just written in the comments that apparently he was in F-Boy Island season 1 and 2. And it's like, well, if he's already been on TV twice, just like Steph, is he here for love or is he here for clout? Is he trying to cross over to the Australian audience or what? His date, well, he asked to sit with Zanti first. His date, it went well, but if I were a guy, because I understand they normally watch before they go in the bombshells, having seen how Zanti behaved about Zayn, I wouldn't want that mess. I would not want that drama. It would be too toxic because she's quick to get clingy, and once she's stuck to you, it's going to be difficult if you find somebody else that you like. Zanti did reveal that, she was in a couple with Zayn who she liked more than he liked her. And the reason he connected with the new girl was because of Jim. And apparently the bombshells had only been in there for 24 hours. And it's like, oh my God, this is fast. So she says she doesn't work out. And you also have Mercedes say he doesn't work out. And it's surprising though, because on his second date, he says he loves spending time in the gym when he's talking to Sophie. So it's like, are you telling the girls what you feel they want to hear, or are you telling them the truth? Which is it? I don't get it. I'm very confused. Anyway, he then has a date with Sophie. Sophie is sort of saying she was in a couple with Dylan, but Dylan has made mad moves. And it's like, I was rooting for you, Sophie. I'm doing my Tara Banks impersonation. We were cheering for you. The audacity. Dylan hasn't moved madly in the villa. Dylan was coupled up with Alicia. Alicia didn't like Dylan. She jumped ship. She went to Taylor. And then he coupled up with Mimi. He was with Mimi. Mimi was demanding that he do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He was taking his time. As I said, I think the reason why he didn't move or make any sort of effort to try and win Mimi once she coupled up with Steph was because he didn't like the idea of going against Steph. And now my worry is, even if he still likes Sophie, is he going to go head to head with Mercedes, or is he just going to leave her? I don't get it. And so for Sophie to say that he's made mad moves, he hasn't. Every girl he's been coupled up with has either been stolen from him or has stolen him from somebody else. So I don't get why Sophie said that. I think Sophie still likes Dylan. She was asked, okay, if I choose you, are you going to pay me your 100% attention? Are you still going to be exploring Dylan? And all she said was, I'll pay you. I want you to know I'll be giving you 100% attention. She didn't say I'm not going to do anything with Dylan, which tells me she still likes Dylan. I hope they have a conversation with Dylan afterwards and reach an understanding, because you can see that Dylan is upset. Although back at the villa, he's having a conversation with Chrissy, and Chrissy's saying, I'm happy that now he's more relaxed because Sophie's not here. When Sophie's not around, he's more touchy-feely. No, he didn't touch you inappropriately. Neither did he kiss you. If he really liked you like that, he would have kissed you. He would have been saying, he's going to say he's happy that you chose him, because at the end of the day, he needs to be in a couple. And if Sophie goes home, he is stuck. If he tells you he doesn't is not happy to be in a couple with you, you're going to dump him. He's going to have nowhere to go. So he has to be careful and choose his words wisely in order to stay in the villa for as long as he can. I want him to stay until the very end. I'm already Team Dylan, you know that. Anyway, all the islanders are asked to gather around the fire pit again. So you have Mercedes come back with Zanti and Sophie, and it reveals that both dates were amazing, but he's chosen to go with Sophie. Am I happy? Yes. Yes, I am. Because I don't think Mercedes being on F-Boy Island twice and now being on Love Island was the right guy for Zanti. I don't think he has sort of the patience, neither does he have the emotional intelligence to be dealing with someone like Zanti. Zanti is a stunning young lady, but the problem is she's not made for Love Island. She's not. She's made for probably Married at First Sight, but she's not made for Love Island because she's someone who doesn't like switching partners or sharing. So she should have gone on Married at First Sight, in my opinion. Anyway, you have Zanti sort of say she stayed true to herself, so that's her. She doesn't regret that. It didn't work out. She liked someone who didn't like her, and that's okay. It happens. It's part and parcel of life. Rarely do you find someone who likes you as much as you do like them, so I get it. She then goes to pack her stuff, and the boys are just there standing. They don't know what to do. Zayn is speechless because Zanti saved him from going home when she got rid of Kane. So I really feel bad for him. You have, Taylor consoling Zanti because Zanti is crying because she's devastated that she's going home. But at the same time, it's time for her to go home. She doesn't have what it takes to be on a show like this. So it's time for her to go home. And sadly, because they brought in Tommy, a guy who is next to nothing, who's just an ornament for Sydney, there's no way that guy was going to cope with, Zanti. Zanti likes someone who's emotionally intelligent, who's very caring, compassionate, empathetic, and very patient. And so she wouldn't have found that. Maybe Dylan, yes. Or Steph, no. Steph is a full-time F-boy, so that wouldn't have been it. Anyway, while she's packing her stuff, she asks that, the bombshells leave the room. And it's like, Zanti, it's not their fault. They're on a show. You're meant to, find your connection. And if you didn't find a connection with Zayn, you can't blame somebody else for finding a connection with Zayn. Yes, I didn't like the comment Chrissy made as they walked out. I thought that was childish of her to call Zanti childish. But then Anna was too quick to run and sort of say to them, can you leave the room? It's sad that Hannah and Zanti's negativity was feeding each other. But at the same time, I'm happy that clique has now been split up. We only have Hannah. I would have preferred Hannah go home first. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. You then have, before the girls go up, you have Dylan have a quick conversation with Sophie and say to her, I'm happy for you that, she didn't go home. She's in a couple, which is good. But I have a feeling they're going to get back together. I have a feeling as much as they've recoupled with other people, I think the producers were the ones behind this decision because Dylan, it seems, was really keen to stay in his couple with Sophie, who was telling Sophie not to worry. And so for her to be in this position is really sad. And I hope they have a conversation because I didn't like Sophie's comment that she made to Mercedes. So everybody's just sitting there. And then the guys are sort of asking Mercedes, how did you make your decision? And he said, Zanti is an amazing girl. She's very beautiful. But he felt he had a stronger connection with Sophie. And it's like, don't say that. I still want Dylan and Sophie. I still want them. I still see them as a couple. So please, please, please make sure that you leave this girl for Dylan. And you're welcome to take Chrissy. So Zanti has one more conversation with Zayn, and it's like, why does she continue to give him the time of day? This guy is not interested. She needs to keep it moving. There's no point in wasting time with someone who has already shown you that they're not keen on you. Why would she continue to put herself through that? Why would she continue to try and pursue or have a conversation with him? So she leaves the villa and she's saying, I think things between me and Zayn are completely done. And it's like, he's told you he's done. He's told you he's moving on to somebody else. So why are you still worried about him? Why are you still thinking about him? Yes, it hurts that he's moved on, but you yourself have to move on as well and find your person. There's no point in continuing to think about someone who's treated you that badly. Yeah, they did have a conversation and Zayn was trying to console her. I think he felt bad because she saved him and now she was going home. I think that's why he felt bad. Not that he was romantically attracted to her. No, he said he will miss her toasties. And it's like, of all the things that she did for you, that's what you're going to miss. Make it make sense. I don't get it. You then have him sort of sit down and have a conversation, Zayn, with Kayla, and they're sort of trying to find out what they have in common. And it's like, oh, please, make it make sense. Because they like the gym, they like the same treats, and it's like, what else? There's more to life than that. What are your values? What do you believe in? Do you plan on having children? Do you see yourself married? Financially, what are your goals? That sort of thing. And so I don't get it. Or maybe they just chose to show us the dumb side of Zayn. That's the impression that I get, because otherwise I don't understand. So while Zayn and Kayla are having their conversation, Taylor comes up to them and is sort of asking, oh, I thought Chrissy was going to pick me. I didn't quite understand what happened there. And she was right to say, you left it till the last minute. You didn't show us that you were interested. And so I think she's gone with the person who showed her that they were interested. Otherwise, had you shown her you were interested, she would have picked you. And it's like, Taylor, this is not what you were telling Em. You're telling Em that you were worried she was going to pick you, but you're happy that you're in your couple. Nothing is wrong. And even Kayla asked the same question that I'm asking, that what changed? What changed? Why is he suddenly interested in Chrissy when he shut both girls down immediately on day one? Have the producers called him out? Or what is it? Has he been told, we've already got a mummy and a daddy of the villa, we don't need a part two? What is it? I don't quite understand, and I'm still very confused about that. And I wish we could get clarity as to why has he suddenly changed? Why is he now going after somebody? Is it because she's chosen Dylan and he felt he deserved her over Dylan? Which is it? This is the jealousy thing that happened last season, whereby every time a girl picked Nate, people would start going after that girl because they didn't feel he deserved the girl. And this is the impression that I'm getting. You have Dylan have a conversation with Chrissy, and Chrissy saying, now I feel more comfortable because we're in a couple. I don't feel the tension, of constantly feeling like Sophie's looking at us and stuff. And Dylan is not giving her the green light. Neither is he giving her the red light. He's giving her the orange light, and I wish he could sort of make up his mind. He needs to have a conversation with Sophie and see where they stand. Sophie had a conversation with Mercedes and said she enjoyed her conversation with him and their date. And so I get the feeling that Dylan and Sophie are going to recouple at some point. They're dancing around each other, but they're going to couple up at one point. I have a feeling the producers are trying to keep them apart because there's no reason why they shouldn't have had a conversation by now, even just to tell each other that we're moving on with somebody else. Okay, I've never gone off someone as quickly as I'm getting off Mimi, because Mimi, I'm going to say this. Mimi, in my opinion, liked Dylan more than he liked her. And she coupled up with Steph on the assumption that Dylan would come chasing for her. Dylan didn't come. And because she was coupled up with Steph, I think Dylan just chose to sort of take a step back and allow Steph to have her. And so he moved on with Sophie. He's been pulling Sophie for more chats than he actually did with Mimi, which leads me to believe that he really likes Sophie. And I think the producers, knowing this, have decided to bring in someone that's his type to see how they can sort of break that up. And so he finally pulled Sophie for a chat. They have a chat. All we heard was her sort of, because before they went for the chat, anyway, I sped up. Before they went for the chat, you had Mimi sort of saying to Sophie, while you were not here, Dylan was busy hugging and whatever, and he was busy saying you with Sydney. And the whole girls were sort of riling her up and saying, oh, he was saying you made a good choice, this, that, and so what did they expect Dylan to say? Oh, you made a terrible choice. I want to be in my couple, so you have to put me back. No, he can't say that. This is Love Island. You have to be in a couple in order to stay in the villa. Even if he wants to explore the connection with Sophie, he needs to be in the villa. So I don't get, Mimi's beef. The fact that she constantly is calling out, this guy and is always looking at what is Dylan doing, where is he going, what is he doing next. That's none of her business. That is really none of her business. She's not his controller. She doesn't need to monitor him. She's like a monitoring spirit over his head. Why? I don't get it, and I don't get why she's always calling him out. Obviously, they spoke about the fact that he's switched couples. I've said this before, I'll say this again. He hasn't rejected any girl. The girls have moved on themselves. He hasn't. And so you had Dylan have a conversation with Sophie, and he was sort of, I think they're trying to suss each other out to see where they stand. Do they still want to explore their connection? He said he's still open to getting to know her. She seems like she's still open to getting to know him. But she said boundaries. She said no kissing in bed and no cuddling. And it's like, what do you want him to do? What if she wants to be cuddled? What does he say to Chrissy? That no, you can't cuddle me because I've promised Sophie. I don't get it. Anyway, you then have Taylor having a conversation with Nico and letting Nico know that he really is feeling Chrissy. He really wants Chrissy. And I hope Nico goes and tells Chrissy that Taylor wants you, go to Taylor. That way she can leave Dylan alone, because she's already said Taylor is a type. They have a lot in common as compared to Dylan. Anyway, when the girls came up, when Em and Hannah came up, you had Taylor tell Nico, quickly keep quiet. So it's like, this guy is sneaky. Em is the next person going home. I don't mind if she goes home. I think she's boring. I really want her to go home. Anyway, you have the girls in bed. So Mimi is in a bed with Sophie. They're joined by Em. And Sophie is saying she's going to have night vision because she's going to be a monitoring spirit. She's going to monitor Dylan. She's not letting go of a person. And it's like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's going to do the same thing that Georgia did last season. I know I keep bringing up Georgia and Nate. Georgia slept outside with that guy. And the very next morning, she ran into bed with Nate and said, I'm back home. So leave him alone. When it's time to come back home, he'll come back home. The lights go out. Dylan did cuddle her, but I didn't see him kiss her. And Sophie's head kept going up to see what the hell is going on. What the hell is going on? If I were Mercedes, I would start sussing out Em, because this girl is going to go back to Dylan, because she's already said tomorrow if he kisses her, she's going to be on smoke. And I feel sorry for my poor Dylan. With Zayn, Zanti, who? He's completely forgotten about Zanti. He's making out in bed. And it's like, oh my God, this is a hot mess. I can't wait to see the following morning. So in the morning, you have Sydney have a conversation with Tommy. I think the producers told her, you guys need to pretend at least that you're a couple. And he's like, I'm chill. You don't need to put pressure on it. I'm chill. And it's like, this guy is on holiday. He's not here to find love. He's here to be on a TV show and go back home and then use that for his social media to blow up. I don't think he's there for anything else. He hasn't shown that he's there for anything else. So I don't get it. You have Mercedes have a conversation with Steph, and he's sort of saying that he's got a top three. His top three is Sophie, Chrissy, and Kayla. And it's like, oh, okay. I don't know about Kayla. I think Kayla is settled. Sophie's going back home. Your only bet is Chrissy. But the problem with Chrissy is Taylor also wants Chrissy. So if I were you, I would maybe look at Sydney and see what's going on there. Otherwise, you're not going to be in a couple soon. So you then have Mimi, Sophie, and Kayla going for a walk around, the villa, because they've been exercising. So they're continuing their workout. And for me, this is not an exercise. This is an information gathering, as far as I'm concerned. Because I don't know why Mimi still wants to know what's going on with Dylan. She dropped Dylan. She needs to sit down. Dylan is moving on. So she's asking, Kayla, how was your night? How was it in bed with Zayn? How did you go? Was there any hugs and kisses and whatever? And it's like, why are you asking? That's not your business. You left Zayn day one and you moved on to Dylan, and you left Dylan and you moved on to Steph. And yet you make it seem as though everybody else is in the original couple and Dylan is the only one doing roundabouts. He's not the only person doing roundabouts. Please sit down and keep quiet. You have Chrissy's having a conversation with Dylan. She's trying to be flirty because they're both saying we're very sexual people. And so, it's a bit hard to not want to do something. And Dylan, I think, is sort of stuck in this place whereby he likes Chrissy, but he also likes Sophie very much. And so he's conflicted in which way he needs to go. And so it's going to be interesting to see when they have a conversation with Sophie, what he decides to do. Because you have Mimi saying, oh, Dylan is busy telling both girls the same thing. He's telling them what they want to hear. And it's like, Mimi, this is not your business. Your business is Steph. Can you turn around and go to Steph? Keep Steph company. We barely know that Steph is in the villa. I don't even know why he's still there. I don't know whether it's because Love Island paid a lot of money to bring him down, so they're keeping him. Because otherwise, he really hasn't done anything in the villa that would make him stand out. So I don't get it, and I don't get your beef with Dylan as to why you want to continually find out where is he, who is he talking to, what is he up to. Make it make sense. Anyway, you have Sophie pull Dylan for a chat. Call me a hypocrite. I know when Zanti was marking her territory, I criticized her and I said she was childish. But I like this bad girl thing that Sophie has going, because she after having a conversation with the girls, she goes and she pulls, Dylan for a chat. And she's saying that I hope, Chrissy doesn't mind, but at the end of the day, she stole him from me. Because when she woke up, she actually said, I really like Dylan. I didn't realize I liked him that much because I'm feeling fired up and ready to go. I'm ready for war. So poor Chrissy, she should have gone for Taylor. And I have a funny feeling that Chris is going to end up sort of fighting between Taylor and Mercedes. So you have, Dylan and Sophie sit down for a chat. And Sophie's sort of saying to him, Do you still want to continue to explore a connection, or are you moving on? Are you now set in your couple and you don't want to get to know me? If that's the case, let me know. And he says, well, I'm still open to getting to know you, so that book hasn't closed. Just because I'm with her doesn't mean that I don't want to get to know you. I think Dylan is conflicted. I think he really likes Sophie, and then there's this sexual attraction with Chrissy because she's his type and they share the same star sign, and whether he's slept with people, well, he's slept with over 500, I think, so he will know. So it's going to be interesting. The fact that Sophie made him feel uncomfortable, you could tell he was uncomfortable. And she was saying, I can't be dramatic, but I'm trying not to bring out the crazy in me. And she's really been well composed. I have to give Sophie credit for that, because she really has been well composed. She hasn't been after the drama. She has really tried to sort of be respectful, irregardless of what was going on around her. Even when Dylan was stolen, she didn't cry. She didn't make a scene like Zanti. She was very composed. So I can't wait to see what happens. Apparently, there's going to be a dumping on next week, Monday. So I can't wait to see who's dumped. But I'm anxious for Dylan. I really am anxious, and I really want him to go back to Sophie. I think Chrissy is too much hard work for him, and he will always be on edge. Whereas with Sophie, once they're set, they're set. And the fact that Sophie is not even entertaining the Mercedes tells me she's planning on going back to Dylan, because she said she's ready for war. So may the best woman win. So, I hope Chrissy has her work set out for her and she knows what she's going to do in order to keep him, but I don't think she's going to be able to keep him. Hopefully at the next recoupling, they'll get Sophie to pick first. If she picks first, I have a feeling she's going to go for Dylan, and I'm going to be here cheering for it. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 11. Bye guys.